With college football 26's release rapidly approaching, we need to talk about some features that we'd like to see included in this year's version of the game. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC CFB, where you can see all kinds of college football video game content with me, JC. Be sure to hit that like button in here while you're watching the video. Help us out with that YouTube algorithm. Subscribe here to the channel if you haven't already, covering the news updates for college football 26. Of course, we'll have gameplay content out for it when it comes out. We're still covering college football 25 with gameplay content as well. But here today, we're going to talk about the wish list for college football 26 because it's about that time, guys. The full reveal is supposed to be coming this month. Now that we're in the month of May, less than 2 months away from the release of college football 26. Hard to believe that year flew by, but time flies when you're having fun and playing my favorite game ever there, college football. Definitely flew by for sure this past year, but excited to see what they bring us with college football 26, and hopefully some of these things that I have here on my wish list do get included, which I have broken down into 3 categories. I kind of have Dynasty, gameplay features, creation tools, and then I do have one thing I'd like added in Road to Glory that we will talk about as well. So with no further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with Dynasty because that's kind of my main thing, the game mode that I play the most and what I care the most about. So let's lead it off here talking about Dynasty on this college football 26 wish list. All right, so for Dynasty, some things that I hope are included. Number one, crossplay. We need it. I mean, it's on Madden, right? So why can't we have it on college football, Xbox, PS5? Need to be able to play interchangeably there in the Dynasty mode. So, there's guys that have, different consoles can still play with their friends, all that good stuff. Crossplay in online Dynasty. Please let us have it. And then, number one probably for me is this has been a problem. I think it's been like this on Madden in the new gen as well. I've only played a couple of Maddens, because I was mainly a college football player, even kept playing NCAA football 14, just waiting on this one. That's the reason I got a PS5 was for college football 25, but talked about that enough. I digress. But, on the old games, when you would go to your scheme, you'll be able to put your custom playbook as your scheme. So then when you do your formation subs, you do your audibles, you're actually, adjusting your custom playbook. Well, in franchise and in Madden and in Dynasty this past year on college football 25, you have your custom playbook, but when you go to change your scheme in Dynasty or online Dynasty, it won't let you set your playbook, your offensive or defensive playbook, to a custom playbook in your schemes. What's the point of that? I mean, you used to do it on the old gen, so you could definitely do it on this gen, and we're not going to be able to utilize formation subs if they're included here on this game, which they should be, and, all that properly, because we're not able to adjust our actual playbooks that we use. Those of us that use custom playbooks, which I'd say most of us that, mainly play online Dynasty is our main game mode, or Dynasty is our main game mode, probably particularly use custom playbooks. I know I definitely do. And so it's super frustrating not to have that option. So we need custom playbooks able to be included in your schemes in Dynasty. Then I think some portal upgrades are needed. When we see how crazy the portal is in real life, where a lot of teams are assembling their recruiting classes pretty much mainly from the portal, not recruiting as many high school guys. I think we kind of need to flip the way that works. I don't know how they're going to go about it in the video game. I do like the way that they include it only in the off season, but I think that there's not far enough players in the portal. And, a lot of times you're locked out of a guy, unless you're one of the big name schools, seems like it's hard to even land somebody in the portal. So I think they need to upgrade maybe the way it functions in one way or the other, but definitely I think they need to upgrade how many players go into the portal, how many portal players you're going to bring in per year needs to be upgraded as well. And I'm interested to see what they do with portal and NIL, which I didn't list here in the Dynasty, but I wonder if they're going to include it differently in this year's game, or if they're going to keep that function similar to in the past. And then, the old faithful here, we've brought it up how many years in a row since, it hasn't been on the thing since way back when in like the PS2 days, I think. But the ability to have a spring game, which would help us determine, our roster and stuff and such, would be nice. So spring game obviously got to go here when we're talking Dynasty features. And then a couple other ones that I think are a lot less likely, but I think would still be pretty cool, is a companion app. I think I talked about that in last year's wish list. Previously on NCAA Football 14, they had kind of the Dynasty website that you could go on. You could write stories for your team. You could look at but even do some recruiting from the website and such when you weren't home. I think it'd be nice to have that type of thing, but have it, now you can do it as an app. have a College Football 25 app where you can go in, you can access your online dynasties, write stories for people to see on the main page when they log in, do be able to do your recruiting from your phone, all that would be awesome. So I think the companion app would be really cool to have in Dynasty mode or just for the game in general. And then, of course, Stadium Editor in Dynasty. I think people have talked about this a lot in the past, especially when a lot of people like to kind of start as a one-star school, build them up, do these Dynasty rebuilds. How cool would it be if, you start off, you have like a high school looking stadium with the track and you're able to upgrade that as your star prestige moves up, as you improve that program. I'll be able to edit their stadium as well. I think that would be cool, which that's a great transition into. Let's talk about the next category. Let's talk about the creation tools I'd love to see added. I think that I have 3 here listed. When we talk custom playbooks, which, thankful for custom playbooks and all that they have. But one thing that's always been missing in them for a long time now is at one point, there was a couple years in college football and in Madden, I believe it was in both. I know for sure it was in Madden that they had to create a play feature. And that was so cool to be able to not only, have a custom playbook, but create your own plays to put in that playbook. And I definitely think it's something they could do again. I don't know if they ever will do it again, but man, it's something I've wanted to come back since it was first on the games. Create a play would be a creation tool I would love to see added to the game. And then, there was a lot of focus last year, and I'm sure will be again the case this year because it was so awesome on the team entrances, right? Everyone has this kind of custom entrance that you get to see highlighted as you go into games. Well, I think if they want to continue to upgrade and make it user-friendly with the team builder stuff that we're talking about with the stadium editor and such, how about the ability to create your own intro, create your own team's entrance when you're doing team builder, that you have your own little video segment that they show, when you come in, kind of similar to the custom team entrances that are there for every other team. Be able to do it for your team builder team would be pretty cool. So I think create an intro would be nice. And then right along with that, I think everyone can agree with this one. The one thing that was definitely lacking from Team Builder is the ability to create a stadium. And we know they have this kind of stadium toolkit that they use to create a lot of the stadiums in the game. Give us a dumbed down version of that and throw it onto the Team Builder page and give us the ability to create our own stadiums for our Team Builder teams as well. So those are the 3 that I have for creation. And then let's go kind of gameplay features. And some of these I think are very much needed. Number 1 is formation subs. I'm expecting it to be included. I would be shocked if it's not. But also it kind of goes hand in hand with what I talked about there in Dynasty. If I'm not able to set my scheme to my custom playbook, it's not really going to benefit me the way I need it to and the way that I'm really missing it here on College Football 25. But I definitely am missing formation subs. So please bring that back. And then I think for me, one of the main things is I really love to utilize the no huddle offense. I love the turbo no huddle offense. I think it functions well. You kind of give up the ability to audible and hot route if you want to use that faster no huddle offense. And so I think the way that it functions is fine. But I think the regular no huddle, when you just hit triangle and use it, they need to make some changes to it because, on Madden, it's kind of similar to the way it was on the previous generation of college football video games where you're able to kind of scroll through your more or less full playbook, at least the plays that have the same personnel set that you're using there on the field, the same personnel grouping, and kind of have a playbook that pops up when you go no huddle. College Football 25 was sorely lacking that because when you went no huddle on College Football 25, all you're able to do is select your audibles from the formation you're in, or, you can switch formations, but you still only have those 4 audible plays that you're able to select. Give us more access to the plays in the playbook so it's more, realistic when we're going no huddle that we can run these other plays in our playbook like we could in the past in NCAA Football 14. I think that it kind of limits the no huddle offense on this year's game. I didn't utilize it as much because I only have, 4 plays to pick from in each formation, and kind of it hurts a little bit for those of us that do like to use the no huddle offense. I didn't use it as much this year as I would have liked, and I hope on College Football 26 they upgrade the no huddle and give us more plays to choose from. Keep the turbo no huddle like you have it. Don't pull up that playbook for that. That's fine. It needs to function quick. I like the way you use it. But if we're using the regular no huddle, we should have access to more plays than just 4 in each formation. So that's a gameplay upgrade I hope happens. And then I think this one would be cool. And maybe this one is more of a dynasty than just a gameplay one because I don't know if you would be able to do it for play now games. But I think that, it was awesome that they included the stadium promos that teams have, where you have, I'm a WVU fan, right? We have the Gold Rush where the stadium's in all the crowds in all gold. And we have the Stripe the Stadium where they're in gold and blue and they're striped. And they included that for teams in last year's version of the game. but it was randomized. A lot of times it was like your first home game of the year, then one of your bigger games would be the other promotion, and they had a couple for each team. I think, if you want to really go to the next level for that and give us the ability to feel like we have full control over our program, how about the ability to select our game promotions, and include each one each team has? I know West Virginia has 3 or 4 because we have the Gold Rush, we have the True Blue game where it's all blue, we have the Cold Rush where everyone wears black, we have the Stripe to Stadium, and I'm sure other teams have that as well. So if you're going to do it, try and include them all. Even if you can't include them all and you're only going to include a couple, though, give us the ability to go through when we're making our customized schedule in our Dynasty to select, hey, this is going to be the Gold Rush game, this is going to be the Stripe to Stadium game, so that we can pick what games we want to have those cool crowd promotions involved. Just give us that next level of customization. So that kind of wraps up the gameplay features. And then Road to Glory, I think we're all pretty much all but confirmed high school is going to be included. I think the only thing that I want to change for Road to Glory then is if high school is going to be included, let's change the way we're recruited as a Road to Glory player a little bit. Let's have our guy be able to match up more with the colleges that he best aligns with, versus in the past you would just get recruited by schools, you would add them to your list. Now let's be able to maybe have a little bit of an interview process, a little bit of a visit process. That's what my main upgrade would be for Road to Glory. Let's have the ability to select some schools and actually go on visits. Maybe there's some cut scenes on those visits and we have to have an interview style thing on those cut scenes at each school, and that helps us select which one we want to go to from the ones we've made the official visit to. But also when we're trimming down our list, when we're listing schools, let's have kind of those traits and stuff that we have, kind of similar to the way the coach stuff functions in recruiting. Let's have that for our Road to Glory players so we can see which school we match up with best. And, it's more based on that versus kind of just picking our favorite school or picking the best school. It's kind of more based to our player's skills, what he likes, and how that aligns with the school. And then also it'd be really cool to actually go on some visits. If you're going to include high school, let's go all out with the recruiting style of it before we get to the college level. So that's my wish list here for college football 26 as we're getting close to release. Can't wait for it, guys. Like I said, be sure to throw your thoughts in the comments on some things you'd like to see included in the game as we're starting to get the full release supposed to come out. I mean, not the full release, the full reveal supposed to start at some point this month here. We're halfway through May, so hopefully it's coming here in the near future. But those are some features that I do hope get announced for the upcoming game. Let me know yours in the comments there. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button before you head out. Really appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel if you're a fan of the college football video game. Appreciate you tuning in to this one, and I will catch you on the next one.